Hello and welcome to the first video of the first month of I Can See the Future app. I'm Chelsea again, and this is Teresa. And what we're going to do for this first video, and essentially the first video of every month, is we're going to go through the process of brainstorming and kind of finding ideas we want to work on, and then laying out what we need to do to accomplish them. So kind of project managing those ideas. One quick thing that we wanted to note is the ideas that we are going to throw out there. Some of them are so kind of conceptual that we're only going to do, the design. We're only going to finish the month off by designing what it would be like. But we're not going to literally create everything. Obviously, you can't do that. You can't create everything in 1 month. So, we don't want to limit ourselves with things that we can only accomplish with 1 month. And we really want, there to be the possibility of kind of going out there and kind of getting crazy with the ideas and just showing that. So yeah, at the end of every month, whatever the idea is will be as far as we could take it in a month. And we'll present that in that last video of the month of where it ended up. So what we're using for project management is Asana. You can use a lot of different project management websites. There are some great ones. We're just using Asana. I prefer that. I can share other ones in the comment in the link below. But for Asana, I have a Brainstorm idea set up. And so Teresa and I have been adding some random ideas we've had in the last week or so to this column, Fresh Idea. And so what we kind of want to do now is just go through them and see, what has Teresa added? What have I added? What does it mean? Like, are there any other ideas we want to kind of brainstorm out and add? And then we're going to try to pick one and make it the project for the month. So yeah, Teresa, I think the first one on here is yours. So do you want to kind of talk about this?
Yeah. Where are you? I don't see you in the video.
Oh, so that's just a screencast. It's going to automatically show up, so I'll be in the bottom left corner.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just the weirdness of how we're using screencast software.
This first one that I had is a Roomba that picks up dog poop, and then it compacts it and turns it into fertilizer. And I just had this idea just because I think, it's not everyone's favorite part of owning a dog. It's like picking up poop, like you do it. But what if there was a Roomba that could pick it up for you? Right. And follow you outside, pick up poop for you, and then turn it into something useful. I actually think that people would use this.
Right, fertilizer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that would be so tight.
It'd be funny too.
Yeah. Trying to think when I imagine it clearly can't look like a regular Roomba because that would be too low, and then it wouldn't,
Yeah.
So I'm trying to visualize what it would look like.
It'd probably have to have a function where it can detect how high or where the poop is on the ground.
Yeah.
And it can hover above it.
Yeah.
And then come down on it.
Okay, what if this is stupid, but I just want to throw it out there because I love this visual. What if it's a dog house, with a little opening door part, and as it's going, that's the front, right? So it's always detecting where the poop might be, and then it's bringing the poop into the dog house.
From the front?
Yeah. So it's detecting bigger.
It's moving.
Yeah. So it's always hovering essentially, but there's a door where it would enter in.
So it's hovering.
No, imagine a doghouse, right, with the door, and it's on the ground. So it's always on the ground, but that big door opening would position itself and kind of go around and be oh, there's a larger object than the grass or whatever the level it's on.
Yeah.
And this would only work with grass that was low and flat, right?
Yeah.
But it would just kind of go across and go, oh, there's an object. I'm going to bring it into the doghouse.
Yeah.
Analyze if it's poop.
Yeah.
And then pull it up into whatever compartment would do the like kind of processing.
I'm just imagining like logistically, right? You're like you are taking your dog outside, and you're going to the lawn. So like you get your leash and you get your dog, and then you take the Roomba thing with you. And then when you get outside, you like put it on the ground and it like follows you maybe, or do you like are you holding it the whole time and then you go onto the lawn?
It's like a really heavy poop bag because you should just
really
pick it
heavy.
up. If you're carrying it around with you, it totally has to be a situation where you like have a lawn that you just let your dog out in whenever your dog wants. There's like a doggy door, and it's always back there cleaning up the lawn.
Yes, yes. This is for private people who have private lawns.
Yeah, it would have to be.
And it's just out. Oh, that's so brilliant, though. It's out there. It's always looking for the poop. It's your own lawn. And then it's like a little Roomba thing that's kind of like hovers, and then it gets the poop, collects the poop, and then maybe it returns it to a larger receptacle where it then puts the poop in with the other poop, and then it compacts it and turns it into fertilizer.
And it also like can detect if there's anything bad in your dog's poop and let you know if your dog's unhealthy.
Oh my god.
Let's just go there. Like if you're gonna take the poop, like, and it's a robot, it's gonna analyze it. What else can it do with it? You know?
I love that idea, except it seems so funny that like while you're back there, so like you're ready to get your fertilizer, but you're like also back there like checking the health of your dog.
Well, no, it like sends you via text message like a little chute that says like, you know, if it picks up poop that like is and it detects while it's carrying it over to the fertilizer, it would be like, oh, it looks like your dog has diarrhea and it's green, and here's why, like some of the reasons, the health of your dog or whatever. And you just like get a text and you're at work and you're like, oh, my dog's shit is bad.
This is kind of a tangent, but we've also talked about this before. If we were able to develop this technology of the nutrition detection, we really should make the one that you put into a toilet. And it tells
I'm
you.
going to add that to the list. Yeah. I totally forgot about that.
Because if that technology is there, I want it. I want to know, for me, like, how am I doing?
Poop detector for toilets. Wait, no, not poop detector. What should this be called?
Like, I guess you could know enough with pee, right?
Poop. Oh yeah, poop pee. Poop pee. So a nicer way to write this. My words aren't coming to me today.
Nutrition detector or like something like that, like
nutrition. Well, it's like a health detector because it's overall. It could be, you know, health.
Or maybe there's a better word. It's not detecting. What is it doing? It's like
analyzing.
Health analyzer.
Ooh,
that's not.
This is going to be embarrassing. My inability to spell words being recorded and screencasted.
I don't think it can be called health analyzer.
No.
No.
Why not?
Because there's a pun in there.
It's fine. We'll call it something else if we decided to do this as a project. But like, just so we know what the idea is, like health analyzer that looks at your poop, just whatever. This is poop and pee via toilet.
That would be a fun app to design.
Yeah. Cool. That's a good idea. Threw that one in there. Okay, so now we've kind of covered those two ideas. Let's hop down. I think this next one we both came up with a while ago, but you introduced the idea of, or you showed me what flux was, which I hadn't used before. But yeah, do you want to talk about this one a little?
Sure. So this next one is, this is like a discussion we were having about how, you know, when you're designing, it's like late at night, you know, you can use something like Flux that will change the tone of the light on your computer so that it's like less damaging, and then it also like prepares you for sleep later. But we were both saying how that's actually not so good for people who are designing, because then it distorts the colors, and you might not necessarily want that like warm tone to like fall asleep. So designing something that will help protect your eyes, basically, right?
Yeah,
It
it would essentially be like Flux, where it does do the color correction for your eyes, but it still accurately will detect what color you may have intended, right? So
Yeah.
it's like the idea of like if the worm is on and you pick like a blue that you think is a certain color because of that, kind of warm filter over it, it automatically will actually choose a blue that like matches what you think you're picking.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming, I actually haven't tested it because I haven't used Flux. I have that on my phone, right? So like I have it set to like go to the warm tone on my phone, but I haven't used it on my computer at all. But I'm assuming when you choose a color, like what we were saying, when you choose a color, like say you're in Photoshop and you choose a color, that that color isn't, when you turn off the warm tone, isn't the color you thought it was going to be, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so some kind of tool that helps correct that so it is the color you thought it was going to be.
Right. So I guess the solution for that would either be that you visually see the right colors, or what's the alternative?
No, so you wouldn't want to visually see the right colors because the whole intention is to like give you that warm tone screen, right? So I think the solution would be that the software would be smart enough to say, if you chose this blue when it had the warm tone washed over it, you're most likely intended for that warm tone plus that blue, because you're choosing the blue based off of the blue you want, right?
Yeah.
And so it's essentially like if I minus, once the warm tone is away, you want to kind of add it back to the actual blue you chose.
Right. Okay. I'm remembering our conversation more now.
Right. It would have to be some kind of like combination. Like the software would have to be smart enough to be able to detect or to take the warm tones and apply it over. I actually feel like this isn't. It's either one of those things that's like, oh, I can build this pretty easily, or it'd be like, wow, there's like a million, so many million colors, and every one of those has to be calculated in a different way,
right,
or something.
Or what if it's just the tone that is applied has like a hex code that you can take out later?
Yeah, I think as long as, you would want that tone to be added to whatever the hex that you pick.
Yeah.
Because you'd be designing with that warm. Yeah, I think it's a doable thing. I think it's kind of an interesting concept too of like, what does that tool look like? Because essentially you would just like turn it on and it would give your whole screen the warm tone. And then after the fact, either it gives you the colors, or while like the cooler thing would be like while you're designing, it's choosing the correct hex code to make something based off of what you did choose.
Right. The only thing that I can't wrap my mind around is like how it will be able to detect, like how will it know what color you're thinking?
Because the tone of the warm that's going over the whole screen should be consistent, right? That's something that we're saying, do this tone. So that tone layered over whatever hex color you're selecting equals the color that you're assuming. So like, this isn't like how it would be developed or anything, but the idea would be like, say you, so this green bar that's in the Google Hangouts thing, right? Mm-hmm. So right now looking at it, that's like the specific green that it is, right? When I put a warm tone over it, it's going to look different.
Yeah.
Or it's actually like the opposite example would be correct, where if I have the warm tone over it and that's showing me a different green because it's a warm tone green now, if I want that warm tone green again and I take the warm tone off of the computer, then it's not this green that I'm seeing, right? It's this green plus that warm tone again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it would be like, we know what the warm tone is, you're selecting a color, So after the fact, we would just say, cool, it's that color plus this warm tone on top of it. Yeah,
exactly.
So
because that's what you
development-wise, I'm not exactly sure, because you can't necessarily. I'm not sure if you can. It's above my abilities anyway to like force different selections through the programs you're using. So say you're designing in Sketch and you choose the color. I don't know if you can alter that color choice in Sketch via, this separate app that we would be creating while you're editing, but like a very basic, like kind of product for this, which may be annoying, would be after you're done designing and you turn it off, it gives you all the colors. So it's like, oh, replace whatever blue that is with this blue. That would be like a very simple way of kind of like, and not even simple, I'm sure there's a lot to it, but like that would be the way you do it without having to interface directly with the actual software the designer's using.
Yeah, I'm sure someone could write a program that could become like an app or something that.
Well, if say we were to build it and Sketch was working with us and gave us like access or like API to that, then we could build like a Sketch plugin, right? And that Sketch plugin would be like, cool, we're turning on, this design mode, night design mode, or whatever we call it, right? Where it's like you turn it on and it automatically works with Sketch, right? So or it plugs into Photoshop or whatever. Or maybe there's a way for it to be like universal, and then you still have those API, those like connections to their software. But again, like software stuff's a little bit, how that works is a little confusing.
I feel like the Sketch route would really work.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, any of them could. It's just like, hey, you want to work with us on this thing? It's definitely above my skill set in it now, but we could still build some interesting kind of like initial ideas from this to like see if it's a valuable tool that designers want. Cool. That idea is kind of fun. Here, there's one other one here from you, and the other two were from me. This one was like when we were just talking about your upcoming wedding. And just like what kind of bride you actually are and how nothing really exists for you.
Yeah, I don't know what this would be. This is just this is just basically like my frustration in the fact that like I don't care enough about weddings to actually invest too much time into like that research part really takes up so much time of like, like I kind of have a general idea of what I want things to look like what kind of dress I would like or whatever, but I don't have the time to actually go and search through all of the websites that I know to look for that dress. So I don't even know what this solution would be, but it would just be like, it'd be like a wedding genie.
Yeah. Yeah. And it would have to be like, sort of like really clearly, it's essentially like a virtual assistant for your wedding, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm this type of person. I don't really want to deal with any of the logistics, or like, I'm not that into looking for any of this, but this is my vibe. This is what I like. And give me back information and even clarity in everything you need. Cause like, if you may not know like all the things you could do that like would make it, you're not, cause you're doing like a kind of simple wedding which is just like a courthouse wedding, so you don't have to worry about all of that. But it's like location and like all of the little details of it.
Dress, flowers. We're doing a dinner after, and it's gonna be at our house. So there's like little decorational things that we need to get, and I would just really love to like type that all in, and for this wedding genie just to spit back to me like all these different links, and then like it could be like a really funny like mock-up of like the vibe in the wedding that I would be having, like there could be like some funny visual, and then like like a link package where like I could just be like, oh, like all these dresses could work,
right?
Maybe these flowers, this venue, blah blah blah,
right? Yeah, just really clear, easy suggestions for someone that like just wants like, that's the general thing, and you're not like super like picky about it, as far as like some people are like crazy and they spend like all this time doing all this research because they need to find that perfect thing, and you're just like, I just want something that like fits this idea.
I want it to fit, but I also don't want it to be ugly, so it's like you care about it not being ugly, but you're not caring to the point where like you are being so OCD about it, because then you would want to just plan your own wedding,
right?
Like that person would just go in.
There's plenty of like resources for someone who cares that level. There like isn't enough of like, just there isn't like a simple resource for someone who doesn't really care that much.
Yeah, just like a simple package, highly designed. I think that woman's out there.
There's lots of that woman, but even if it was like a quick like questionnaire kind of thing up front and different packages based on who, like, okay, I want like a desert wedding, so it's going to give you back desert venues that are close to you. Yeah. Right? Like, I want a desert wedding, and I want my dress to be like this vibe. Like, I pick from a few dresses, like that kind of like simple questionnaire that gives you like a general thing. And then it, spits back, information that helps you there. It's a fun idea.
Yeah.
I think where this really complex, but it could be kind of simple.
Yeah. I think where this can really shine is like the kind of like really obscureness of like the events and dresses that are on this site. They're not generic. Like they're like things that you wouldn't have thought of. Right?
Yeah. And there could always be like a wedding, like somebody working that was just in the chat that was like, once you go through it, you could like comment or say something to them. Like there could even be a little like, AI chat bot that like kind of brings you deeper into it. I could see this as like a website or as an app. There's a lot of different ways this one could work, and it could be really fun to lay it out, especially because your wedding's coming up.
Just in time.
We just do all the research. I don't know. It could be good. All right. So there's two more that we can kind of work off of. This doesn't explain much. Exciting package tracking. So I was just thinking about, I like had something coming in the mail from Amazon, and I was just thinking about how exciting it is knowing like this thing's almost here. Where is it? And, and like looking that up, but it's also very like lame looking it up and seeing, it just departed from this place. And then you're like, cool, that you're reading it as text. So this is a super simple idea, and just for fun, the idea of like, you would plug in your tracking number and it would give you back this cute and exciting like map that shows you the journey your package is taking to get to you, right? And so you get to watch it coming to you, and it would just basically take the same data but show it in a visual way, right? So now I can see the movement of where it's going, and I can imagine how to build this. I think that there's already plenty of APIs that exist for all of these endpoints. This idea probably already exists. I haven't even dived deep enough into it to look for it. I
feel like it's if it exists, it's not being used.
Right. There's ways this could be used by e-commerce companies, right? That kind of plug this into their endpoint of like, once they make that sale, because that is part of the fun. Like, I just bought this outfit and it's coming to me and I'm excited for it to come. Like, there's a missed opportunity. But, just even building this out as a fun kind of simple tool just to begin with. And then like, maybe it can grow and there's potential for it to connect in different ways to the actual brands themselves that are, e-commerce shops. But it would just be fun kind of just to design it and to think through like the journey of a package and like how it makes you feel and, what that would look like. So
I like that so much.
It's a fun one. Oh, and then, the last idea on here, mini AC or for tent or car. My air conditioning in my car is just terrible. It works sometimes, it doesn't. So I went to go try and get it fixed. And the guy basically told me, like something weird's happening in the low AC, or in the high AC part of it, the low AC is working. So it's still working, but there's some blockage that makes it so that it can't come into my car properly. And I was like, cool. So how do we go about fixing that? He's like, he's like, it'd make more sense to just like replace the whole thing. Cause by the time they figure out, somebody dives into it and figures out what's going wrong, the hourly labor and everything might end up being more. So I was like, okay, how much does it cost to replace the AC in my car? He's like, $1,200 or so. And I was like, cool, that's not happening. I'm not replacing the AC in my car. So the idea, mini AC for tent or car, is the idea of just, like a compact air conditioner that can run off of your USB or what, in your car, or even just batteries, and use it to air condition a small space. So your car, a tent, something like that. I did look this one up. I think you did too, right? And we found that. Yeah, we found that one example of it. Or you found it. You found, I forget what it was called, but it was kind of big.
It's kind of big. Questionable about how well it functions.
Right. So with this idea, there's like nothing that new that we would do. If this already exists, it's not like we're creating some new product, but what could be fun for a month-long project is to just visualize what like a new version of it would look like, and create the branding and design it out and whatnot. So this would be like an e-commerce product type of like design project of just laying out how that would function and what it would look like. Probably wouldn't actually, obviously wouldn't actually build anything for it, because website wise, even because the product doesn't exist. But it would be a fun design challenge anyway, maybe.
It would,
AC unit that's cool and for your car. And then like how much would it sell for? Like if you sell it for $400 in comparison to $1,200.
And I feel like that really, it makes such a big difference, because my car had the same problem, and I ended up selling it because it would cost like $1,000 or $2,000, and that's almost how much my car was going for at that time. Like how much it would cost if I sold it. I was like, it's not worth it.
Right.
But if I had this mini AC, I could have kept my car.
Right, just keep going until it just doesn't like fucking drive anymore. It's just like run it into the ground. That's what I want to do with my car. It's just, it gets so hot, and I'm just like, I'm pretty miserable when it's not working. It'll work if I go like over 80 miles per hour.
But I feel like then like just the speed of the car and like the wind is cooling you.
Well, that's with the windows up, the AC will work. So there's something happening. I don't know. Maybe someday if somebody watches this video in the future that like knows car stuff, they're going to comment and be like, oh, it's this. I'm really good with AC. And I'll be like, my car is long dead by the time you've seen this video. I don't know how much. It's been around for 10 years. I'm not sure how much longer it's really got. By the time you're watching this, it's like,
it's too late.
It's too late, but thanks anyway for the suggestion. I don't know. It could be fun to work on this, but I don't know. All right, so do you want to try to think of any other ideas? We have some that could be fun to just pull and pick for now anyway.
We have quite a lot. Which one are you gravitating towards? Maybe we'll try to say it at the same time. Let's say it at the same time.
Oh, no.
Which one we're gravitating towards. Okay.
I'm kind of between two, though, so it's...
Are you between two?
Yeah, but I'll say the first one just...
Just the first one.
Okay, ready? One, two, three.
Wedding poop and pee toilet. Is it the wedding one?
Yeah, because your wedding is coming up, and the other reason is because... So we kind of want to do these videos every Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
And give ourselves 4 Tuesdays, so like it's essentially 3 weeks to do each project. Right now we're on, September. It's Wednesday because we had to shoot the intro video yesterday and kind of move this one back to today. So we're gonna put this one up. Then we'll have, if we want to kind of stay on a monthly schedule, which would be nice, like to wrap something up by the end of September. We have a much shorter timeline.
Yeah.
So I feel like the poop and pee health analyzer one is like a cool but potentially bigger project than like the wedding checklist. Oh, maybe they're the same.
I think they're all going to have to be around the same because we only have, really for design, we're only designing a week.
No, well, let me open calendar. Let's look at the calendar here. Make this one the main screen for a second. So here we are on the 12th. So normally we'll have, we would have like, say we started at the beginning of September, we would have the 4th, which is when this video would have been created, right? The 11th, the 18th, and then the presentation on the 25th. So from the 4th until the 25th, we have to work on it. We would just, so that's 3 weeks, right? 1, 2, 3. So essentially within that 3-week time period, bless you. Within that 3-week time period, the 11th and the 18th would be the 2 videos we'd be posting about our process. So we would post either like on the 11th, it would be like the logo design, like, or, you know, the 18th would be like maybe any development stuff or additional like design of the website or whatever, you know, that project is. And then the 25th would be the final presentation of this is where we brought it to.
Okay, so we actually have 3 weeks.
We do. We have 3 weeks, but this time we don't. Because if we want to kind of restart, we would essentially say, here's this first video. So we have from today until the 25th. So we have 2 weeks minus a day, 2 weeks to get whatever we choose now done. If we want to start fresh again in October with like our 4-week schedule or our 4 video schedule.
Okay. What was your second choice?
My first choice was wedding checklist, and my second was going to be the package tracking, but I kind of want to save that one for a longer period of time because I actually want to build it. Like I don't want to just design it. I want to actually build it. So that way, the 3 weeks, we should have enough time to like overlap in design and build something. Because that'll be relatively simple, I think, because of everything that exists already API-wise. So, yeah, what do you want to do?
I don't know. I mean, the wedding helper, I feel like, is it possible to make it in 3 weeks? Because then I don't think we would be like, it wouldn't be a fully functioning product.
No, we could just design it.
Like, what would that look like?
Right, not build it, but we could design it in. We could. If we were to pick that one later and do it, we could build like a very basic MVP. Like, it wouldn't have like all the amazing features, but when we present that one at the end of the month, it could be exciting to see that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so funny to like have this video, which ends up being kind of meta because we're talking about like what's going to happen in these videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think if we chose that one now, we have 2 weeks to do it. We would just do design. We wouldn't build anything with it.
Yeah.
We would just design what that would look like. It would force us to do a little bit of research that might help your actual wedding. It's just a question of whether or not you want to do it at all. Because if we're going to do it at all, I would say let's do it before your wedding. Otherwise,
Like, potentially I would be able to use this product.
Well, potentially you'd find value in the research that it takes because you got to find a dress and stuff.
I will sacrifice myself so that future brides who like things to look good but don't care enough to invest the time won't have to.
Yeah, that's basically what it would come down to. And obviously, like, because it's just a design challenge for the next 2 weeks, we'll both be doing design only. So we would both be able to tackle this with like, I could do research and you can do like logo and, you can brand it. And then I can do like user experience, like the UX UI side of things.
Okay.
That's why, but if you're not stoked on doing it, let's not do it at all. Like, let's pick something we're actually kind of excited to build as our first one.
I'm excited to build that one. I think that could be a good choice only because it is a shorter, the it's a shorter month.
Yeah.
And I think you're really interested in actually building some of these other projects. So we shouldn't do those this week.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm down. I mean, I think it's so fitting, right? Like, it'd be weird if I picked something else.
Yeah, I think it works because your wedding is literally in
my life right now.
Half a month.
Anyway.
Your wedding's in like 2 weeks. You don't have a dress, right?
Still looking for it, but you know what?
It's
I'm going to have a wedding helper app.
Yeah, this designed wedding helper app is going to make it easy. It's so funny because it's so crazy that like we're starting this project and you have a wedding in 2 weeks and you're like, I'm not done with it, like prepping for it. So let's do this project to help me prep.
Yeah, it's like the longest road you could walk to like just get to I don't know, the same point. But I don't know. This will force me to research.
It's a scenic road. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing the research anyways. That's the point.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And obviously, just to make like a note, like the reason we only have 2 weeks is because it's a self-imposed limitation to make sure that we get on track for October being like a full month of the 4 videos.
Yeah.
Which, who knows, like in the future we may miss a Tuesday here and there anyway, and that'll throw it off. But for now, we're like trying to start. Okay, let's brainstorm this out. So wedding helper for someone who doesn't care about weddings. We already kind of talked through some brainstorm ideas for this, but I'm going to start putting in tasks. So obviously we need branding.
Yeah. Will this be a website or will it be an app?
I feel like an app would be awesome because a website, and maybe let me think through it, but I feel like the person that doesn't care that much may be like just on their phone on an app and be like, cool, yeah, that's the dress, click, buy.
Oh my God, that's so cool. That's how much they don't care.
Yeah.
They're doing it on their phone.
Yeah, so I mean, let's just take the idea all the way to the extreme and make everything match that concept, right? So like, it's an app. Branding app, what needs to happen logistically? Like, are there any, so we need to do the research for what? Like, we should actually lay out what the categories are. So,
I guess what I thought of as number one is functionality. Like, how is it actually going to function? I think we should figure out how it's going to function even if we're not going to actually build it. Yeah. And it should be like something that's possible. So like maybe it's like a Google reverse image search where like you put in your dream images, right? My dream like dinner, my dream dress, my dream flowers.
Yeah, I think so. For the functionality, we should figure out the functionality for each one of these things that we want. So what is it? Dress, like find a dress, finding a dress. What else? Finding a venue.
Venue.
Let's just do dress, venue, because we know what that means.
Yeah. If you're not doing a venue, obviously, it will not prompt you. It's just you'll put in like what you are looking for. Yeah, or location, because you could say I'm going to do it at my house or I'm doing it here, whatever the location is, or you need a venue. Yeah. Venue. Yeah, it's like whatever you actually, like we would ask the question, do you need help with finding the venue? Yes or no? Yes, then here. Okay, so dress, venue, you said flowers. Flowers. And flowers, I mean, these are, I think all have subcategories because dress, you're probably also thinking like jewelry, shoes, and all that. Flowers, it's like arrangements, and then also like the ones that if you want to carry some on your wedding day, or if the groom needs like one in his pocket. So it's like different types of flowers.
What are those called?
I think it's a boutonniere.
Oh God, how do you spell boutonniere?
I have no idea.
Boot.
I could not even begin to spell. I could not.
Boutonniere. Okay. Arrangements on person. Flowers, arrangements on person. decoration or arrangements. Bouquet. How do you spell bouquet? No.
B-O-U.
Almost. I forgot a U.
Q-U-E-T. Okay.
Etc. We'll just say etc. because we can actually lay these out when we get to the real work.
Yeah.
Because more of this will like come to light as we go. So dress, venue, flowers. What else do you need for a wedding? Guest list.
Food. Or restaurant reservations.
Yeah.
I think that this app should also ask what your budget is.
Oh yeah. Well, almost like budget per each one, right? Because or a total, because it's kind of like,
I probably would want a total because
right.
it's all coming from the same place.
Yeah, but I also would be like, there's no way I want to spend more than this much on a dress.
Right. So maybe overall budget, and then max budgets and minimum budgets on each subcategory.
Yeah. We'll have to kind of lay that out in clear, There's more to each one of these, right? There's so many little categories. So it's dress, all of the potential things, like you were saying, venue, what location, all of that kind of stuff. We can actually build this out more when we're getting to that phase.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to brainstorm everything to
no.
That tiny amount. Just get the general ideas down, because this is going to be what we're researching on.
What would be really fun would be I don't know, it's really crazy today, but it's a wedding roulette app, and you type in, you put in all your subcategories, right? So you're I know that whatever the case is, I definitely want to wear a dress, I definitely need shoes, I definitely need a venue, but I don't want anything else. And then you would press the wedding roulette thing with your budget in there. You put your budgets in, and then it would only give you one option for each thing. And then you would look at it and be like, this is the dress, this is the shoe, and this is where I'm getting married. And then you could literally be like, okay. And if you didn't like it,
or refresh on just that thing.
You could keep hitting randomize until you found something that was kind of interesting. And this is just so funny, because this is for someone who literally doesn't care but wants something interesting. So I think the selling point of this app is just the things that we show you will truly be interesting. It will be venues that are just fucking cool, really good food that you might have not thought of, independent designers that have wedding dresses that are really cool that you will probably like, but just depending on your style. And if you don't like the single combos that it gives you, you could totally copy those down as just you could have a list of oh, these are interesting restaurants that this app showed me, and these are interesting places to look for bridal dresses.
Right. Or also just to kind of amplify that, it's you press the overall button to give you a random combos, and then you're oh yeah, I like everything but the dress. So you just keep refreshing just the dress, and that switches out until you're that's my package. And then
how funny would this be?
Sends it to you, zips it up, and gives you all the information.
Yeah. If someone actually used this and it turned out to be a blast, because it probably would, because it'd be so ridiculous that you did an actual wedding off of an app where you pressed a randomize button. You're and I wore that dress, and I went there, and I wore these shoes, and these are the rings.
Yeah, that's great.
It's funny.
I like that as the general idea for it, the wedding roulette. Let's just kind of go with that. Yeah. Wedding checklist. And so normally, obviously, in this process, if we were trying to actually create these as products that we're taking to market, we would be doing, as a part of the research, what really exists in this area.
Yeah.
But for the sake of doing this, it doesn't matter if it exists. We're just making whatever we think, come to life and showing that process. So I don't there may be something that's wedding roulette, but let's do our own wedding roulette app regardless.
my God. If there is a wedding roulette.
It's mobile. Mobile. App. Okay, wedding checklist / helper for someone who doesn't care about weddings. So we need branding for it. So now it's like we need the branding, we need UX and UI, which is ultimately the design of the app. Researching before we can get to that stage, researching the categories and what like we want to do. And then also for the user experience side, we'll like kind of take those categories and think of like how do we actually like ask all these questions. Like one thing that could be kind of fun, I've seen it in a few apps now, which is just the style of like it almost looking like it's a chat between you and something where you're like selecting pictures and you're just like kind of going through a chat process, and then at the end of the chat it gives you the final package, right, that you can go through roulette style. So like
you chatting with a robot?
Yeah. So you select stuff. So you'd go like the first question would be like, hey, well, you know, like it'd be like a message, hey, welcome to Wedding Roulette. I'm going to ask you a few questions before I give you your wedding. First of all, which of these dresses do you like the most? And you select one, right? And we make them very distinctively different, so that style is like it's clear. So let's open this again. I kind of want to. So like dress, and then like venue, like we could do it based on location, like where are you, and then you know what's your address would be the question, and then which like what do you want to, where do you want to be, like wood, you know, forest or desert or whatever, and it would just pick a venue that's closest to your address. That fits that vibe. So it'd be like, oh, it's a forest wedding, it's a desert wedding, it's a whatever, or you know, it's a beach wedding, it's a destination wedding. If somebody picks destination, you just pick any random place in the world. Which I feel like somebody who doesn't care about their wedding that much is not going to want to do a destination. It's way too expensive. But it could be like a courthouse.
That person could exist.
Yeah, it could be like a courthouse, you know, like as an option too, right? Like court wedding, you know, or like, oh, or skip, I'm going to get married at, like in my own location, I already know, kind of thing. So yeah, flowers, the same thing, like which flower style are you most interested in? And then guest list, like we don't really need to help with any of that.
No, I feel like this app should be like more of like a fun, inspirational thing where like I have this app and I go into it and I'm not taking it completely seriously, but I'm hoping it inspires me in some way. So like I type in like, you know, like what I want aesthetically,
right,
and it shoots me back
results for everything.
And then that could be a good jumping off point for me to be like, oh, I didn't think about like, what about a 70s bar? Like that's kind of cool. Like, and then, you know, and then I can end up doing that.
Right. Cool. Yeah.
But I don't think this should be like I don't think I would be using this app to be like, and where are my guests? Like, how are they going to get their invites? Or like, you know, I don't think it's going to organize anything for me.
Right. So it's more about giving you like clear inspiration and places like links to buy things, right? Like, cause it's like, here's this dress. It's based on a style of the dresses you just picked. You can refresh to pull in a new one, but if you click and open it, it'll send you to like the link to just buy the dress.
Yeah.
So there's that. Same thing with venue, sends you to like a venue.
They're all real.
Right. Flowers, food. Food could either give you, I feel like food should just be like restaurant or caterer.
Yeah.
And then based on like what kind of food you like. Yeah. Or we could just say for the purpose of this, it's just restaurants. Like you're not going to want to put together like, I don't know. What do you think?
I think there could be like two functions with this where like someone who wants to go really deep can, so they could be like, you could like type in as much information as you want and just like, oh yes, and I'd like it for it to be in a restaurant and you know, definitely Mexican food or whatever. And then like, you know, so your answers are very specific, And then maybe there's also like a super easy button one where it's like, I don't care. I have $1,000. Randomize.
Right. Okay. So dress, venue, flowers, food, overall budget.
Yeah. Maybe you pick like 3 things, like 3 basic things. Pick 3 basic things, and then you like.
Maybe you're not like selecting your budget, but at the end it says cool, because you were asking like your budget for the dress, the max for the dress, max for venue, max for flowers, max for food. Yeah. And then at the end it could be like, cool, so your wedding's going to cost, these things will cost around this much. Like it totals it for you. And then you would just see like what that would get you.
Okay. So like maybe don't ask for budget.
No, you don't ask for budget because you're already asking for the max budget for each of these items, right?
Yes.
We don't really need a min budget because like, how about $0? Give it to me for free.
Yeah. God, it'd be a really funny function of the $0 wedding.
A $0 wedding is like, it connects you to all these different things where like somebody gives you a dress for free, a venue, like the venue is some location you can go to for free. The flowers are like, I don't know, you can't pick flowers in California. It's bad.
Flowers.
You can't pick those wild flowers, my friends. I don't know, food budget.
No, but yeah, no, I think you're right. We don't need a total budget. I think if people set their max budgets on each subcategory, then
it can just display like, here are all these things and here's the total, like here's the the total amount, the total end budget for this wedding. So is there anything else? I'm like, both of us are like not wedding people. What else do weddings need? Like dresses, a venue, flowers, food. Huh?
What?
Oh, wedding rings, like wedding rings. Is that like would be a part of this?
Huh?
That would just be a part of this kind of like process. Wedding rings, yeah.
If you want, if your wedding is at a venue, maybe you want performers, music, DJ.
Yeah. Music.
Yeah. Maybe you want bartenders.
Oh yeah, this is turning into a real wedding.
It's a real wedding. Yeah. But someone who doesn't care.
Maybe
but they want a bartender.
Do we want bartenders inside of food? Like food can kind of give you the option of like.
Yeah. Maybe combine those.
Food and drink.
Yeah.
Okay, so category-wise, we've got dresses, venue, flowers, food and drink, wedding bands, music. I mean, dresses would also include, like, this would have to just be, like, clothes for the entire wedding party. Would be the bigger category, right? Because then it would be a dress and then whatever the partner would be wearing. Either another dress or a suit or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Clothes for wedding party. Just like dress.
Hair and makeup.
Suit. Or 2 suits and 1 dress and hair and makeup. All of that would go inside of what? Clothes? No.
Yeah, maybe we don't call it clothes, and it's just like
wedding party. Right, because that's what everybody's called, part of the wedding party. So the dress, the potential suits, the jewelry, the potential jewelry, the shoes, the what else is there? Makeup.
That's it.
Wedding party look. And maybe, we'll break these down more in the actual design when we go through the user experience, like side of what is actually in each one of these. Okay, so wedding party look, venue, flowers, food and drink, wedding bands. So just like, wedding bands. I'm like, music. Wedding rings.
Wedding rings.
And then potentially music. All Are there any other categories?
I feel like for someone who doesn't care, it seems like more than
enough.
Basics. Yeah.
Right.
Like if you care more than like this, then like this app's not for you.
Yeah. Well, what could be kind of fun too is if we really do take like a personality once we get into like branding it. If we take a personality with it and we say, this is like kind of just like a suit, like the simplest kind of wedding you can have, right? And so we put limitations on all of that. Like music just gives you back a playlist that you would play at your wedding. Like instead of recommendations for DJs and things, like everything is like way simpler. Like the food and drink would just give you restaurants you can go to. So it's like one style of like solution where it'd be like, here are the wedding party looks, the potential like outfits and things you can buy. Mm-hmm. The venue would just be locations of places based on what you're interested in. Flowers would be, literal flowers you could buy.
Yeah.
Food and drink suggests restaurants based on what you want. Wedding rings would show it, and then music would just be like, and here's your playlist.
Like these are a couple of the artists in the genre.
Yeah, or like for the purpose of doing this kind of like quick 2-week project, we would just have like a fake looking playlist, but it would have music in the genre or the like the vibe of what they were like selecting that we'd send to them. Like
pretty funny.
Here's your wedding playlist. Like it's funny. All put together from songs that give the feeling. So say you do like the desert wedding and you want all your music to kind of fit this kind of like, I don't know, desert folky vibe. And like that all, it's like, here's your playlist, here's your venue. Like,
I like that. That's cute.
Yeah. Otherwise we'd be like recommending DJs, right? Or bands.
I like the playlist better.
Could be cool, but for this purpose, maybe simple.
Yeah.
All right. So I think those are the categories. Oh, let me open this up again. So we know we need to do branding. We need to dive into those categories and pull some content that we're going to use for kind of our design purposes anyway.
Yeah.
Go through and kind of wireframe out, with the user experience side of things. Let's do that separately. Wireframe app, so we know what it's going to be, and then for the actual design UI of it, design app. Okay, and then how do we want to present this at the end of? Because we're not going to build this or any of the details. We basically want to kind of wrap all of these things into some kind of presentation. Like how we will display it on the last day.
Do you think we should just do like one of those, what is it called? Those things that you use when you're making an app and it's not real yet, but you're like showing someone.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I always use Flinto. I have that down here. Yeah, I know what you're saying. So that we can kind of run through it. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. We can use that to just display it, and then we'll just do this, screencast and show it that way.
Yeah.
Or the other alternative would be to have like one of those like one-page websites that shows the app, like running through the app, and then just like download here. Like make a fake one-page site for it.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be hard. I think there's I wouldn't even have to necessarily we wouldn't have to design and develop it ourselves, because I think there's a million like quick things we can just throw one up on. Let's do it that way, because then we can like share it outside of just like this video.
That's true.
Okay, so what are those called? My brain is shot today. It's like it's like this one-page site. I know this has a name and it's bugging me because I know it. To share app. Yeah. Okay, so that's all we really have to do, I think, for this. So let's just kind of brainstorm. Do we want to name it right now? And then we can say, cool, we've got the name. the next video we'll share like branding and kind of process through branding. And then the video after that will share the UX maybe of it. And then the final presentation will be like, this is the UI, the designed app, and here it is on the little website.
Well, yeah, that's a good breakdown.
Yeah. All right. So let's name it Wedding Roulette mobile app. Wedding Roulette.
Wedding Roulette intrigues me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that could be funnier, or if there's different words for wedding that, I don't know, could like, when I see it.
Yeah. I mean, Wedding Roulette is so straightforward. Like, I know exactly what this app's going to do. Like, it's going to give me like well, maybe not exactly, but I know that it's going to give me random weddings back.
Yes.
So,
and then it's going to be fun.
Yeah, maybe this is super cheesy adding but it's like your wedding is kind of important because it's not just any wedding back. It's like your wedding, right?
Yeah.
But what's a better way of like writing this?
It should be short. It should be relatively short. I don't know. What if we flipped it and it's called like Roulette and then like colon your wedding?
Roulette your wedding.
Roulette your wedding? I don't know.
Roulette your wedding. Yeah, roulette your wedding, like as a verb or whatever.
Yeah. Is there a better word for roulette? It says randomize your wedding. It's not really fun. Like roulette has like
it's a game. Yeah. Roulette your wedding. RYW.
RYW. Roulette your wedding.
RouletteYourWedding.com. Let's see what's at RouletteYourWedding.com.
Oh my god, I don't think good things are in there.
Why not?
Roulette your wedding.
Ooh. Cannot be found. I wonder if somebody owns it. We'll have to.
Wedding randomizer seems like so generic.
Yeah, let's just call it Roulette Your Wedding.
Because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
I'm like, Let me do that.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fun thing about, I think, what we're trying to do here is that, like, at the end of, like, presenting everything we've come up to, if we've created ideas that we're like, wait, we should really make this, we can expand them and go into them deeper. Or, like, the other cool thing is we can make everything kind of open source and potentially, if other people are interested in working with us, like, come hop on and let's expand this idea. Because I'm just thinking about how fun it would be to actually be like, it's your wedding's coming up and you're looking for wedding apps to help you, and you see Roulette Your Wedding and you're like, okay. And you click on it and you're like, you can just keep kind of refreshing and getting great new ideas for your,
Totally. I think that the market for very OCD listy kind of wedding things that's covered. There's lots of organizing apps and websites where you can do that. But I don't know how many people are randomizing and rouletting their weddings.
Yeah, let's see. Roulette wedding. Oh, there's like Wedding Chapel Mania.
Like a game?
Yeah, but it's like a what is it called when you pull down and what is it called? Today's been very long and my words are no more. Slot machines.
Oh,
there it is.
That could be really funny.
Yeah. Okay, this is fun. All right, let me do the final step here. I'm going to make this into